if the judge thinks that the service is highly desirable, but the judge is not sure if there is a large room for growth or not. So what kind of evidence should I provide? So here, so you will leave the participant in the dark of what else they should do. And if you look at fieldwork evidence for the feasibility, is here all of this is very high. And profitability, this one is also high. They say that based on valid data from statistics interviews, that's about the, and then the KPI is strong. And then the next one, also evidence for adopting, it's, you see, now if I follow your guide here, need to clarify the evidence more and more. So the student don't know which part of the work they have to work on. What other evidence do they need to provide? And now look at their presentation. Just look at the evidence part. Oh, no, this is not. So now when you give the tool, could you remind me the evidence that you look at it and you consider it as two? Zim? And this group doesn't have any confidential information page. So it has everything for the judge to look at. So now just for our sake of practice, could you give me the part where you have the two and versus one? Liam, are you with me? Yeah, so you can write it here so everybody can read what you write here. Yeah, for the evaluation. Zim. So could you provide just an example of the evidence that you consider very good? So just take it any of your feedback here. Just is on the yeah. Just for the any part of the evidence here and what they need to provide more for you to get a better score from you. Yeah, because the overall score here is very high. And it's okay to give high score if the comments are helpful for them. Yeah. Because we don't want to give students a rosy picture of the reality. So when the scores are inflated, then the students think that what they do, everything they do is already good. And imagine they face a reality and things don't go as expected. And they are left in the dark. And so if all the judges say it is good, but now for my project, how can I improve it? Now I don't get the performance as I expected. All right. So so it's also something for all of you to be aware of. So I would like to give you an example of what was considered good. Let me give an example of the judge that did a good job in giving the comment even for Mayflower. Okay, so there is an example of evaluation of Maypaper flower by another participant. So just look at the comment. Okay, so that is really follow the principle of the 3A, and also this just give a good gift to Maypaper flower. So you look at this. So first of all, that they say the work is good. What is good? Okay. That now they say, aside from preserving traditional, you're clearly offering a sustainable alternative to flower product. You're not just providing paper flower artwork for job creation and art preservation, blah, blah. You're doing more than that, blah, blah. You see, that is clearly an appreciation of what they do. And now align and augment. So target, you need to be more specific on customer and users. The age range and ability to buy the product is not an enough qualifier. That now he even gave an example that Maypaper flower can even identify their jobs or industry, reason for buying, reason for choosing product, but you already have the data of your customers. Use that to improve your target market. And then you give a question. It's like, why do you need to work on more data? Historically, who are your regular customers? Is there a segment that has targeted in patronage of your product, blah, blah. And so this is the alignment. After the alignment, and then you see that is the augment. So the just gives a direction for the team to think. Okay, so there are, and of course, different judges will see different perspective. We'll be able to help the team from different angles. We don't expect every judge to give the same comments. So yeah, and I agree with you, Quân, that you gave a comment about the environmental aspect of the project. Okay. So Ziem, do you see an example here of what considered as a good evaluation? Okay, so I hope that this round you will do a better evaluation, because all the rounds are independent from the point of view of the judge. Because we don't have the same judge for the project. The reason is that we want to give students a diversity of voices and suggestions. The overall objective of SBC is to help the team improve their work. So the more comments, the more stakeholders they are able to speak with or to get feedback from, the better it is for the team. All right. So any questions or comments in the room? So I hope you all have an idea about the work as a coach and a judge. All right. So now let's go to the material of our today topic on execution. So if you look at the competition, you see the design here. So for round 1 and round 2, we only ask for the design. So round 1 is a design of the solution. Round 2 is a design of the business. Now in round 3, we start asking them after 2 months of work to see if they are able to get people on board, to get the resources to help them really execute the business model that they propose and the social solution that they propose. And it's the same for startup and the existing business, because some of you might say, hey, if I just an existing business, it has been in the market, so it has been able to execute already, right? But then, so why do we still ask this question? Because we want them to execute the new business model that they propose. So we don't want them to get stuck on the old business model and doing the same thing. And if you do the same thing, you cannot expect different results. And so we want to find the indication of their the innovation and then the determinant to make it work. Okay. So let's go with the evaluation form. And so that will affect the, so if you look at the evaluation form for round 3, so you see that what stay is the mantra one-liner. We ask the same question because we want them to keep improving. And then we ask them for the business model overview. And if you look at round 2, we also ask them for the business model. So, but we ask first more detail on the product and then the logic for making money. And so the comments from the judges in this round will make the student think again on what they've been doing and how they could improve it. So round 2, you see this question repeats. The business logic and innovativeness. So this question, you see it, but the weight for the question is lower. Now we want to ask them, they have to find the market where they can grow. So based on the solution, based on the business model they have, where should they invest their time and effort in order to grow? So the execution here is not just simply about registering the business. It's more about finding room to grow, finding the business model that allows you to grow, and then execute that. So it's really about execution of this business model, the new business model that they propose. And so they need to find a niche, a place where they can grow. So they could grow by going to another market, another country, another customers, or even expanding the product and services. So they could diversify horizontally or vertically. Now, in order to grow, they need to find the resources. And so we work a lot on the capitals. And then we teach students different types of capital they have to work on and develop. And then I will go to the course in a few minutes. And then the traction. The traction here, even though it is startup, then they should have, after 2 months, they cannot say that, oh, after 2 months, I'm still at the ideation stage. No, I have not talked to anybody. Nobody has given me any feedback whatsoever. So after 2 months, if it is the case, then you can't execute the business. So then you must have some traction. And this is what investors really care about. They don't want to, even angel investors, they don't want to give their money to a project where there has never been any feedback. There has never been any effort to refine the initial idea. Because first love is very strong, but it may not be the best love. So we want the students to really study and look beyond the initial first idea. And then we want to them to think about the kind of risk they will have and how they can manage that. And then the ESG performance is what kind of impact they have, both positive and negative, and we want them to analyze the risk they have on the environment, on the society, and on governance, and then how they can minimize that. So we have the overall impact and then the governance structure. And in this part, governance is important because you start recruiting resources, and governance is the recipe or the methodology to manage your resources. And so the learning curve, the question repeats. So in fact, every round we have the question on the learning curve. What have you learned? And if you look at the team, if they are able to answer the question on the learning curve here, on the business model, and if they have nothing to improve for this round, then there's something wrong with the team. So we want to see that they really improve from the last round. Any questions so far? No? Always good? So let's go to the course material. So what we teach students. Now, so in order to do well in this round, they need to learn what is the execution process, what problem they are likely to encounter, how can they scale, and how they can the examples of best practices of how can scale up. And then they learn about different type of capitals needed in order to execute the business, and then the approach to develop the capital, and then the governance is a very important part. So that's why we have question on the kind of people they can recruit and they can mobilize for the project. So if you go for so these are the issues that they have to work on, and then when they work on the project, they have to think about marketing, they have to think about monitoring the business tractions and evaluation of their impacts, and then continue learning adaptation. So you see the first thing that they have to really work at, and then they look at so the adaptability here and the importance of partnership and collaboration. And now they have to start planning for the financial aspects, and then they need to develop good leadership, and then need to be sensitive to the culture. And then we have specific information on the risk. So when you execute, what are the risks they have to be aware about? Market, finance, regulation, the impact risk, the operation, the environment, governance, and leadership. So this will help the student reflect on the questions of the risk management here. So out of the risk they learned here, what kind of risk are critical for them, serious, how they manage. But depending on the type of the business and the company they're in, and the industry they're in, and even the country they're in, so some risks are more critical than others. So if you are in the agriculture business, then of course the environmental risk and regulation risk are very strong. But if you are in the art sector, then it may be the culture risk. There will be and their relation could be important risk. So it's really case by case. So they have to think. The risk means what can kill the business, and it is only a probability, so that they can have the strategy to mitigate that. And then that is for the issues in business model. And when they look at the execution process, so again they have to know what is actually a business model. They already learned in the previous round, and this is a repetition to remind them a model that can be executed. And so value proposition again, and then they have to understand the right segment, because marketing is key. You cannot execute a business without being able to sell it, to convince people to adopt your products. And then now the revenue stream and cost structure is an important aspect. So they have to start working on their finance to know where they get the money, where they spend it. And at this round, they should already have some money and some resources to start. So that is for the overall introduction. And now, how can they scale? So first, they need to develop that mindset, and then they need to build partnership and build organizational capacity. They need to leverage on technology, and then to engage in advocating, doing lobby to find the policy that will serve them well. And then we have examples of how they can, and these are super short examples of the case. So today we are going to do an example of the case that could help the student learn how to develop. So I'm going to send you this case. And then the best practices. So it's very important to understand your landscape, so that you find your map, and then you find your way. The collective strength. So that's why partnership is very important. Collaboration is very important. And here, the power of innovation, what you can use. And then for the capital, this part is particularly important for the team. So we tell the students, don't just look at cash. So they have to develop the network where you can find the right people to work with you, and then the work on the diversity, equity, and inclusion, and that will also have an impact on your symbolic capital as well. So you need to monitor, evaluate, and you measure the impact of your employees on your business. And here, an example of how you can recruit your people, and how you can work on the ESG with the kind of people that you have, with your HR practices. And the last one, how you can mobilize your people to work on planning, on talent development, and the capabilities that they need to develop, from performance to agility to knowledge sharing, and then develop a inspiring team. And then we also have a sections on the performance from your human resource management practices. So let's look at the example case. So while I'm downloading the case, I would like you uh, to reflect on the type of topic that you will work on here. You can write on any of this topic here. So an example case that you want to teach students so that they are aware about issue in the business model execution, or you can teach students about how they can scale up. They find a business that is an exemplar in scaling or in developing different type of capital, or the managing the human resource. Okay. I will put the case in the chat room. I see a very interesting question in the chat. So it's about the how the team members agree on the percentage of shares, considering that team members may not have sufficient capital to contribute apart from their time and talents. So the percentage here is this really case by case. So there is no fixed formula for this. So, but there is one method we call the value accounting. So I'd like you to read this book. If the team is really interested in so value accounting method. Yeah, so while I'm looking for the exact citation of the book, I would like to ask you to download the case that I've just sent you and to go over that, and we are going to discuss that case as an example case for round 3. Yes, so I found it. It's put it in the chat. So this is the book that I referred to. Okay, so Jay, so the book I recommend is this one. So you can also download that book. So here, then you can, so the team members now that if all they have is just the human resource, so then you can evaluate that how how you can account what value for the kind of contribution by which member. And another book that I would like you to read is this one. it's called, so the return on investment of human capital, measuring the economic value of employee performance. Okay, so I put it in the chat, the two books that I recommend. So how the team can put what value on what contribution. Okay, so let's go back to our case. So this story, let me also send you the teaching note. I have sent the teaching note in the in the chat as well. So you see, there is an example of how we can teach students the ESG, and it's generic for the teaching note that I also ask you if you want to publish your case. So we have the synopsis of the case, so we know what the case is about, and then the conceptual foundation and the teaching objectives, and then we ask students the questions, and then the approach, how we can teach this case for the minutes by minute. So these, for the sections here, we have we cover section 1 with 10 minutes, introducing the students to the story of to the protagonist. And then for section 2, that will be another 15 minutes. So going to the problem, and then so so to section 3 on activism and scrutiny. Here, if you go to the case, so you see an issues of the company, what they've been working on. Okay. And so now I would like to give you time for practice. So when you have more time at home, you will look in detail, but at least you can see that the outline of a case on this. So I would like to break you into group. We will have now 1 hour left. So I'd like to have you 20 minutes to work on a case outline for round 3. So now let's look at the number of people. I'd like to divide you into 3 groups. So who want to volunteer? So what case do you want to work on today? Now we have the coaches here. So so the first task is 20 minutes to determine a case and the case outline. So what case do you want to work on? Coach, oh my God, your coach is here. Come on. Or you want to work on the last? So who volunteered? Oh my God, Case Koto, you're so good, huh? You take advantage of the class is very good. But let's see if any other coach work on, and if we don't have any volunteers, we'll work on the Case Koto for round 3. Lan Hương, I know that you coach few teams, and I know that I can. So don't you want to write a case about your project, the team that you're coaching? Hello, Ziu, you also coach a team.
Yes, I hear.
And well, I see in your background, you even work on ESG. So all the more reason to write a case about the execution. And because execution is very much related to ESG. So out of the projects you are coaching, which one has a good potential for a case?
Should I use the group I coach for
Yes.
SEC math?
Yes.
Is it possible?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
thank you.
I want you to work on that. So out of the project you coach, which one you see that has a good story about the developing the capital, or it's about the strategies for scaling, or even the problem they encounter when they scale the business? Okay, now I see SIC Mart. Yeah, that is also a very interesting project. I need one more case. Yeah, any other case? So we have case Koto. Yeah, I need one more case. Or you only work on these 2 cases? I need the leader of okay, that's the case. Then we just work on 2 cases then. So I'm going to divide you into 2 rooms. One will work on SIC Mart, and the other will work on Koto case for the uh, for round 3. Okay. So I like to I open the room so you can choose. And I give you 20 minutes to work on the case. So your task now is to pick a topic for your case and develop the outline for that case. You have seen example. I give you an example of the teaching note and then the student handout. And I would like you to develop a similar outline for your case. So now we have 2 cases, Koto case and Sigmart case. And so let's give you the SPC link to the case. So please go to the room. So we see each other in 20 minutes. Okay. Pick a topic and develop the outline. Yeah, please go to the breakout room. Okay, yeah, please go to your room now. So there are only two cases to work on. Koto case or Sigmart case. So Ziu, can you go to one of the two rooms? Thảo, also I need you to go to the room, yeah.
Dạ dạ dạ. Ok. Đấy, ví dụ như này ở đây mình thích cái gì?
Thanh Nguyễn, yeah, please go to the breakout room. I need the material to work on. Lan Phương, can you go to the room? How? Can you go to the room? You cannot. Which case do you want to work on? Ngân Nguyễn, I think that you would like to work on Koto case.
Maybe the problem of testicle, I couldn't find okay. A break room, we just have, okay, thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much.
So, Thảo, which room do you want to go to?
Yes. Thank you.
Which room do you want to go to?
Yes, I go to the K Koto.
Okay, Thảo, case Koto. Good.
Yes.
All right. Lan Phương, bạn muốn vào case nào?
Là làm về talk show, là làm về các chuyên đề workshop này nọ thôi đó. Thì ý của cô Hương là em hiểu là mình cứ cố gắng là thử, mình cứ làm sẵn, làm trước, giống như mình làm một cái.
Chắc em chưa hiểu chị Ngân nói ta. Alo chị Ngân ơi, em chưa bắt được ý
Dạ
phần
rồi.
chị Ngân chia sẻ lắm.
Dạ em xin lỗi là bây giờ em không nói được.
Tức là chị Ngân đang thảo luận một bên khác nữa hả chị?
Sorry mọi người, Ngân đang phải làm họp với một cái lớp ESG xong rồi hôm nay tự nhiên viện trưởng gì vô quá trời, nên là Ngân đang không có out được sớm á. Dạ sorry mọi người, mọi người cứ tiếp tục nha, sorry. Yes.
Dạ nếu mà em nhờ chị Ngân tắt mic giúp em nha.
Dạ.
Dạ. Ờ.
Em chào cả nhà.
Dạ chào mọi người.
Xin
Thì
chào
cái
cô
phần của
Thảo.
nhóm mình.
Dạ, em chào thầy Linh. Hôm nay vô tình mà nhóm của mình đông quá nhở?
Hầu như tại vì chỉ có 2 phòng của chị, ngoài phòng kia thì còn lại phòng của mình.
Hình như có một số thành viên hình như không thuộc nhóm Koto đúng không? Chỉ mình tham dự để mà
Thì nhờ cái
nghe
room
chia
của
sẻ.
mình có bao nhiêu phút để ngồi thảo luận đấy nhỉ?
Dạ mình có 20 phút à.
Đông vui. Thế thì nhờ cô Thuyết lead nhá.
Dạ, em sẽ hỗ trợ ghi chú nha. Thì đề bài của nhóm mình á là mình có tổng cộng 20 phút. Mình chọn một cái chủ đề, một cái nội dung gì đó trong module số 3 này. Chọn chủ đề ha. Sau đó là mình sẽ viết cái dàn ý cho cái case. để mà dạy học viên về chủ đề đó. Dàn ý cho case cô tô để dạy về nội dung tương ứng. Không biết là có anh chị nào mình có thời gian mình xem qua được cái phần nội dung của module số 3 chưa ha? Em chưa kịp xem qua.
Thông tin số 3, cái bài mà cô Mai gửi vào group của mình chị Thúy rồi. Vì cô Mai cô gửi 2-3 cái luôn rồi coi nó bị nó bị loạn.
Cái hình dung của Thuyết là như thế này, Thuyết nói thử xem Thuyết hiểu có đúng không nha. Thì cái lúc nãy mà cô Mai cho mình xem á, là để cô Mai cho mình xem được một cái ví dụ á, của một cái case, cái cấu trúc nó như thế nào, và cái phần chuẩn bị dạy của mình, cái teaching note, cái sườn nó nên có những cái mục gì á. Còn cái nội dung của mình lựa chọn á, mình không có cần chọn cái nội dung trong case đó, mà mình chọn một cái nội dung kiến thức nào đó trong cái module số 3 trên Eduzone á, mà mình muốn dạy cho học viên á, thì mình sử dụng cái case Koto đó để mình dạy nội dung như thế nào. Thì cái đó là cái Thuyết hiểu, không biết có hiểu đúng ý của Mai không.
Tuyết ơi, vậy thì theo như cái mình hiểu và cũng như bạn chia sẻ đấy, thì theo như cái module 3 bạn đang chia sẻ đến đây này, 123 này thì mình cũng có đọc, mình cũng có làm bài tập xong hết rồi. Thì mình thấy được là mình cũng đọc rồi, mình làm bài tập xong hết rồi, thì mình cũng thấy được là cái khóa này cũng hay lắm. Và mình mình thích cái chủ đề phần 2 ấy, mà cái có thể chia
Scale up.
sẻ với các bạn.
Phải scale up không chị, để em click vào cho mọi người xem nha. Tốt quá, có chị Thảo xem qua trước. Hình như mạng bên em nó hơi yếu hay sao nó không chạy. Phải xoay in lại cho em 10 giây. Dạ. Anh chị có thể mở cái khóa
Mọi
ra
người
mình
ơi,
xem được
để
không?
em chụp tấm hình lưu niệm, mọi người mở camera. Dạ rồi, để em chụp tấm hình lưu niệm. Với lại mời cô Út vào nhóm luôn nha. Dạ. Dạ 2, 3 rồi, đẹp lắm rồi. 2, 3. Dạ rồi.
Chị Ngân ơi, chị Ngân có nói với nhóm mình đúng không? Hay là chị Ngân nói với nhóm mình kia? Em bị bối rối.
Cứ bảo cười lên là cười thôi.
Rồi em mở lại được rồi. Cái mục số 2 chị Hảo nói là scale up đúng không chị? Scale up rồi đúng không?
Sorry everyone.
Ok, vậy. Vậy chị Ngân chụp hình bên kia mọi người ơi. Chị Thảo ơi, lúc mà chị đọc qua trong cái mục số 2 này, chị ấn tượng với phần nội dung nào nhất chị? Mình có thể dựa trên phần đó cũng được. Nói thiệt là cái bài tập này nó trong khoảng thời gian ngắn thôi, thử thách với em. Tại vì mình chưa có đọc qua nội dung trước á, hơi khó để mình chọn nội dung nào.
Cho
Hương
mình
này.
xíu, anh Linh đã đọc chưa?
Anh chưa có đọc mà.
Giờ đọc lướt qua đi, em thấy thì em thấy cái phần 2 ấy cũng hay, vì cái phần 2 nó liên quan đến các phương pháp để mở rộng cái quy mô á, tức là quên em thích cái phần mà có thể hướng dẫn cho sinh viên trong cái việc mà, hoặc là hướng dẫn cho những cái dự án đó trong cái việc mở rộng cái quy mô á, nó cũng là một trong những cái hay.
Có cái chiến lược để mở rộng quy mô nè.
Đúng rồi đó. Chiến lược mở rộng quy mô này và cũng như là các phương pháp để mở rộng cái quy mô đó.
Thiết lập mối quan hệ đối tác chiến lược.
Tham gia chính sách trao đổi hỗ trợ. Bác Tuấn ơi, cho nhỏ lại thôi. Yes, rồi.
Ừ. Em thấy cái phần này cũng có thể cũng dễ để cho mình sử dụng cái case Koto để mình minh họa. Em thấy cái trong cái phần này người ta sử dụng cái case của Shell á, cũng khá là đơn giản. Ví dụ với từng hạng mục thì họ sẽ liệt kê là Shell đã làm cái gì tương ứng với chiến lược đó. Thì ví dụ với case Koto mình cũng có thể lọc ra ví dụ tương ứng là case Koto có những cái chiến lược cụ thể gì để thiết lập ờ, xây dựng mối quan hệ với các đối tác khác á, hoặc là cách họ công nghệ.
Đúng rồi đấy, đúng rồi đấy. Tuyết ơi, mình thấy nó hay, nó cũng hợp với cái của mình nữa. Tức là mình xem là cái tức là mình thấy nó cũng phù hợp, mở rộng chiến lược mở rộng quy mô này, về phát triển tư duy mở rộng, rồi thiết lập mối quan hệ đối tác chiến lược, rồi xây dựng năng lực tổ chức, nó cũng có trong cái phần mở rộng cái quy mô đó đây.
Ok, cái gì mình có thể thấy nội dung này. Chiến lược mở rộng quy mô.
Hello everyone. Sorry là hồi nãy Ngân làm phiền mọi người quá với nhiều sự ồn ào. Ngân cũng phải bật 2-3 cái máy nó bị hết pin ấy. Cho nên là bây giờ thì mình sorry mọi người rất nhiều luôn. Bây giờ mình chỉ còn có 8 thành viên thôi ha, nhưng mà trong cái group của mình đến 10 thành
Chị
viên á.
em nói rõ gì thế mà dạ cũng gần hết giờ rồi, nãy giờ em có ngồi em đọc về cái Koto mà em cũng vô, bởi vì nãy giờ em cũng bị miss thông tin nhiều. Là có phải rằng là em thấy rằng là cái yêu cầu của cô là cô đưa cái case của Koto rồi cô đang muốn mình là chọn một mục, đó là như chị đang mọi người đang research là mình làm như thế nào để mở rộng cái quy mô, để scale up nó lên dựa trên cái cây của Koto mà mục tiêu là để dạy sinh viên, phải không chị Thuyết?
Dạ đúng rồi, mình chọn một cái nội dung ở trong khóa số 3 của mình á, và mình lấy cái case photo để mình minh họa, mình dạy cái nội dung đó.
Em mới nghe thì em nói chung là cái này để mình lên một cái outline á, thì để mở rộng thì ví dụ như là như outline là phải lên luôn là cái thời lượng học, ví dụ như là từng tuần hoặc là từng bài mình sẽ giới thiệu cái gì, phải không ạ? Đúng không ạ? Với một cái mà để, theo em thì với một cái để chắc là em nói nhờ chị Thuyết, bởi vì xíu nữa mà em bị miss thì có gì chị trình bày dùm với cái ý kiến của em thì đưa ra mọi người có thể thấy đúng sai như thế nào cũng được, vì em cũng thấy hết giờ rồi á. Với em thì nếu là em sẽ làm khoảng 3 tháng là 12 tuần, thì cái tuần 1 của em á là em sẽ tập trung để mà làm một cái overview giới thiệu về cái ô tô và những cái điểm liên quan tới cái doanh nghiệp xã hội. Cái tuần 1, tuần 2 là như vậy, và tuần 3, tuần 4 thì sẽ làm một cái bài phân tích và đánh giá các hoạt động hiện tại của ô tô. Rồi tới tuần 5, tuần 6 mình để scale up lên thì em nghĩ rằng là phải học về một cái chiến lược tài chính và quản lý nguồn lực, đúng không ạ? Ví dụ trong cái quản lý tài chính và quản lý nguồn lực này thì nó sẽ liên quan tới các cái nguồn tài trợ và cách thức quay gây quỹ của cô Tô nó như thế nào nè. Rồi thì đó là tài chính, và nguồn lực thì sẽ là tuyển dụng, đào tạo nhân viên và xây dựng văn hóa tổ chức, phát triển đội ngũ. Tới tuần 7 và tuần 8 thì mới sẽ tập trung vào cái chiến lược mở rộng quy mô. Thì trong đó thì mình cần phải là dạy cho sinh viên cách lập kế hoạch này, và sau đó là quản lý dự án và triển khai này. Rồi tới tuần 9 và tuần 10 thì sẽ bắt đầu tiếp cận cộng đồng, vì đây là một cái hoạt động cộng đồng á, và xây dựng về cái chiến lược marketing, nhưng mà nó nghiêng về xã hội, nó sẽ community một tí. Thì mình sẽ tiếp cận và mở rộng về cái cộng đồng, và sẽ đưa các chiến lược về marketing xã hội để nâng cao cái nhận thức về photo, sử dụng các cái kênh truyền thông để quảng bá. Rồi tuần 11, 12 thì nó sẽ tập trung về việc là mình sẽ thực hành và sẽ chia sinh viên ra để làm cái dự án này dựa trên cái mình dạy, rồi cho các sinh viên có thể là pitching với nhau, hoặc là lập kế hoạch chi tiết rồi trình bày và nhận phản hồi. Thì nếu theo em thì em nghĩ là như vậy, và trong đó thì mình sẽ đưa thêm các hoạt động ngoại khóa về tham quan photo, rồi gặp gỡ các học viên và nhận những cái feedback để tạo ra các cái nguồn tài liệu nó có độ chất một tí. Em nghĩ vậy. Thì em biết rằng là tại vì thì với cái em thì em cũng hay thì post cho các bạn sinh viên, nếu là em thì em sẽ làm như thế.
Dạ, cảm ơn chia
Tôi
sẻ
có
của
một
chị
cái lưu
Diễm.
ý. Thank you Diễm rất là nhiều. Không biết Diễm có theo trong nhóm của mình từ đầu luôn đúng không ạ? Ngân có một cái ý kiến nha. Ngân vừa
Mình do Diễm chỉ mới đọc về cô Tô và Diễm rút ra vậy thôi, vì nó cũng similar.
ok
với cái
rồi, thank you very much. Ngân có đọc cái bài, Ngân có đọc sơ thì Ngân thấy là hiện tại trong cái bài của cô á, thì mình sẽ theo các bước là mình sẽ scale up trước, tức là mình sẽ đưa một cái kế hoạch phát triển doanh nghiệp, thì từ đó mình mới định hình là ví dụ trên cái kế hoạch scale up đó mình mới mở rộng là bao nhiêu nguồn lực về human resource, cần bao nhiêu vốn. Cho nên là Ngân đồng ý với cái việc là những cái nội dung mình phải làm, nhưng mà có lẽ là cái về cái chiến lược về scale up mình sẽ phải đưa lên trên cái vấn đề về chiến lược về quản lý nguồn lực, tài chính và nguồn lực á. Tức là mình phải có xây dựng một cái chiến lược và một cái plan về scale up, và trong công ty là mọi người, tức là có thể là đã có cô Tô, ví dụ như cô Tô thì đã có một cái bộ máy rồi, bộ máy core rồi từ đó mới phát triển lên. Mình đưa cái đó, và sau cái business execution thì mình phải làm cái scale up, nhưng mình nghĩ là mình phải làm scale up đó. Giờ mình phải có làm được tới 8 món lận để cho sinh viên lận, nhiều quá ha.
Dạ, thì em thấy cái phần case này á, nó cũng rất là linh hoạt á, tức là mình có thể sử dụng cái case đó để mình dạy trong 3 tháng, hay mình sử dụng cái case đó để mình dạy trong một buổi 90 phút. Thì mình có thể chọn cái phạm vi cho phù hợp á. Thì thiết nghĩ trong cái phạm vi mà mình làm bài tập trong nhóm, hoặc là mình làm bài tập để nộp cho module đó, thì mình có thể chọn cái phạm vi nó vừa sức thôi á, để cái phần làm của mình nó không có quá nặng á, cái phần mình đắp xịt lên á. Ví dụ như với 2 vòng trước á, vòng 1 và vòng 2 của nhóm cũng sử dụng case photo á, thì lúc đó mình đang làm cái case ngắn, tức là cái case dùng để dạy trong một cái buổi học cụ thể, có thể là 90 phút hoặc là 120 phút gì đó.
Dạ,
Khi mình đọc một
ok.
cái nội dung nó vừa sức.
Thuyết cứ nói đi, mình không có nhiều thời gian, em cứ nói hết ý của em đi, không cần phải e dè đâu, rồi mọi người có ý nào mọi người cứ tích cực nói lên. Mình không biết mình còn bao nhiêu phút nữa.
Còn 1 phút rưỡi nữa mọi người.
Thì chị thấy là cái business execution đó là tuần 3.4 có thể ghi rõ lên là phân tích hoạt động kinh doanh á. Tức là cô Tô thì để mình confirm lại ha, tại vì Cô Tô là một doanh nghiệp xã hội, mà trong đó thì cô Tô không chỉ có hoạt động kinh doanh, tức là tạo ra lợi nhuận, mà cô Tô còn khá nhiều hoạt động khác, như là hôm nay mình có phân tích ấy, hợp tác quốc tế, rồi đào tạo, rồi tìm nguồn quỹ vân vân ấy. Kết nối các thế hệ này nọ, để đóng góp cho xã hội thông qua các chương trình truyền bá, ví dụ như vậy, ví dụ như kết hợp với trường đại học
chị
IM.
Chị Ngân ơi, cho em chia sẻ một chút xíu nhé. Tức là theo như em đọc cái tài liệu ở bên trên kia ấy, thì em đã nốt ra 6 cái mục nằm trong cái phần mà chiến lược mở rộng quy mô này. Thì mình dạy nó đi vào theo đúng cái 6 cái mục mà em có chia sẻ trên tin nhắn ấy. Thì dựa vào cái đó xong mình triển khai theo cái của cô Tô vậy thôi. Thì ở đây là cô Tô nó cũng đầy đủ hết các năng lực, như năng lực tổ chức này, thiết lập đối tác chiến lược này, rồi có cả vận động các chính sách này. Nói chung là nó cũng đầy đủ hết, mà mình dựa vào cái 6 cái mà em có nốt lên trên tin nhắn đấy. Xong
Dạ,
là mình
cái
lấy
copy qua
luôn
đây cho mọi người dễ theo dõi.
mình cũng lấy luôn một cái ví dụ về cô Tô, mình diễn đạt ra giống như cái ví dụ mà em gửi trên nhóm group á.
Dạ, đem copy qua đây cho chị Thảo.
I'm sorry, Ngân bị mute, nãy giờ Ngân nói mọi người chắc cũng nghe. Em đang nói Thảo đang nói cái tiếng Việt đúng không ạ? Thảo đang nói cái tiếng Việt mà Thảo đánh ở trên đây đúng không ạ? Phát triển tư duy mở rộng này đúng không? Thiết lập quan hệ đối tác, tham gia vận động chính sách. Ok, chị thấy rất là sáng tạo. Chị có điều là muốn đặt câu hỏi thôi đó, chứ không phải là chị fix gì hết trơn á, tại vì chị cũng đang không hiểu là cái business execution á, trong cái trường hợp cô Tô, tức là mình sẽ tập trung vào cái phần nào. Nếu mà chỉ business không ấy thì mình sẽ làm một cái bài nó hơi, sẽ tập trung vào một phần của cô Tô thôi đó.
You. So because you have to do a little bit of thinking, before I can give a constructive feedback. So I would like you to present to me your idea of the writing the case. So which group want to go first? The Sigmard or the Koto case? I know it's short, but it's okay. We are practicing. I don't expect you to come up with a perfect case now. So who volunteers? Come on. So let's go with Koto case first. Koto case. Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So if you have anything written, you can share the screen. If not, you can just explain it to me. So which topic, first of all, which of the topics from the course materials have you picked? Because imagine you are using the case to teach the class, right?
Yeah, actually, our groups come to the agreement to choose the strategy to scale is the
Okay.
topic for our case.
Okay, good. So for strategy to scale, what story do you want to teach the students? So let me share the screen about the content of strategy to scale. So in order to use your case to teach this section, so you want to tell the students how to develop that mindset, right? And develop a partnership, and then work on capability, correct? And leverage technology and innovation, and then policy advocacy, and then empowering growth and transformation here. So that is what you want to work on, right? So which exactly of these areas you want to work on? Scalability, or partnership or organizational capacity or technology or policy? Which one do you want to work on?
Yeah, actually, because our member haven't read it before, so we spent
Yeah.
a couple of minutes at the beginning, read over it.
Yes.
And we love the way in the course using the shell case. So we want to mimic that, which means that we will use all the 6 pillars in the
Right.
strategy case, and then we'll use the example from Koto to illustrate each point.
Yeah. So so let me so first of all, which angle do you focus on? So let me show back to you the example case that I gave you. So out of these, it want to focus on one aspects, which is the so if you look at the synopsis of what they want to tell, first, the case provide reader with insight into the issues of ESG and the position of a board. And then it's about the risk, public relation, investor relations. And then out of this, when they put the students in the position of the board member, they have to work on the issues of the policy. So if you look at the teaching objectives here. So first, it's recommend business strategies for the impact of climate change by analyzing regulatory compliance requirements. So you know that now the focus of this case will be on the policy, right? And then of legal liability, and understand the legal liability and appreciation of the relationship between communication and reputation management. So you see these, the first focus of the case is on this one. Engaging in public, right? So here it's really about working on, so the case gives us enough information to discuss about the mindset, the partnership of capacity, innovation, and advocacy. But then if you look at the case outline, so the story goes around the policy and it's a legal mitigation. And now if you look at the, so how do we achieve this objective? So you look at the sections, the introduction here, just to tell students about ESG in general and the compliance and the cost for that. And then we want the student to discuss how these stakeholders that's impacted by climate change. And then that's why the board, how a board of director might work with a general counsel to solicit their advice. So we open the channel for the discussion of the case through the perspective, through the lens of the a board member. So now for your case, so how are you going to open the case? So you have an angle to emphasize on. So Koto case, which of these do you want to open the case for? Yeah.
Our group have not reached that point yet.
Okay, so now what is the highlight of the Koto case that you want to teach? So you want to teach students on scale, okay? So for them, in order to scale, they need to work on these things. And the example of Shell case, that when they open a new facility, now they have the legal risk. because of the policy. And then for you, which one of this do you want? You think that you can have enough material to discuss with your students?
I think one of the angle could be establishing strategic partnerships.
Okay, good. Yeah, I agree with you. For that Koto case, this could be a good angle to open. And when you open the case, now we need to just want to remind you of what you learned in the foundational course, right? So we need to create a tension. So we need to have a protagonist, and then and then we create tension. So for the case here, they open the case by giving a complication. Complication here is caused by two things. It's the so the first complication is what the board want to do. So they say the board decided that public statement of its climate policy would put the company in a good light when it came to investors and public relations. And so the board formulate this policy. It's about what it targets, what it's the result it wants to achieve, and how it reduce emission. This, but then this is what it gives a public statement. But then what will happen is that the case here, they are exposed by a claimant. The company and how they got the legal let me use the exact word. So the government policy and legislation would drive the industry transition, so that they try to catch the tide. And now we say the council give them an example of what investors are looking at. Chevron investors supporting the climate proposal by the management, and then they had a fund winning 3 board seats here. So they have a first issue, and then you will see the so the parent company also provide the policy. So they advocate the policy here on established general policy, investment guideline, sustainability report, blah, blah. So it looks also, and then it's put it in the annual report. So it's all about communication. And then I will show you claimant. So the problem here is with all of the public policy advocacy on the report, but now the case was initiated by a claimant. So it's just not, it's just one of the stakeholders. It's an NGO, and it's to bring a public interest plan class action against Shell and District, and on the basis of common interest in preventing dangerous climate change. So opening the angle of the case through what the board wants to portray, that is catching the tide, going with the public policy. However, it's not practicing what it promises. So this gives the students the door to discuss here. So this is a difficulty that happened along the way, and the element that this interrupt the work of this policy advocacy is the claimants. And so when we write the case, so we give the who, what, when, why. Here it's, so the case tell us who we are working on this company. So what's the problem? Here is global warming. That's why we see the change in policies, and the company want to have a good image, good communication. So it make a statement on the company climate policy. And why it does that? Because it say it's gonna be the trend. So it will be help the company to win good amount of investments. And the next part of the case here is now the incident. The middle of the case is the incident. Things seems to go well. The image seems to be very good. But then the incident is one claimant, just one stakeholder, filed a lawsuit, a class action against the company for not doing what it's promised. So now the goal here, the board will have to fix this by changing the policy, changing practice, and working on the communication. And so now look at the case again. So we see the complication that gives by 4 legal memo, and then the students are asked to do, this is what they have to work on. The upcoming meeting, Lim and Fallow would evaluate the company policy, how recent development impact the firm. And the board wanted to ensure that the company remain a strategic player in the industry, and then they are aware of the alternative, and they need to be system change to the company business model, so that they, with the new business model, they can practice what they promise on the impact on the environment. So now what they need to do is to communicate the position on climate change with the stakeholders and then the wider community, and good vision and strategy. And so now the task for the student, should it decide to be an agent of change, led by the change, or lag behind the change? So I hope you get a general idea of the case. And now what we will teach students. So we open the case generally by, so the section 1, the introduction tells students about the ESG issue, why they need to start working on ESG. And then the introduction to the case. So we know that the role of the general counsel and the board director, and now it goes to the complication about the legal memo. So the legal memo here tells the students that there are many types of risks, not just from regulators, but also from the litigants. And the company need to articulate the policy correctly and manage the communication. And the business plan have to be consistent with the articulated policy. That is where the complication is. They have one statement on ESG, but then the business model is not helping the company to achieve what they state as the vision for ESG. And so that's why the students learn that the company need to be more proactive. So it's not by reacting to the claim, but rather by when they have a communication, they have a general vision or goal for the company, they need to adapt the business model. So they cannot stay with the same business model for the new company policy statements. And then after that, the student learn about the impact of the shareholder activism that cause a company to think twice, to be more careful in the statement they have for investors. And then they will have to be careful about scrutiny from the regulators. And wrap up here, the student will learn how, so work on policy, articulate it well, make a good communication with the stakeholder, and then the business plan have to be consistent with the policy. And the risk, not only the company, but also the directors themselves. Okay, so to wrap up, this case tell us a mistake of the board by having a statement for ESG, but then doesn't have a good communication and the business model for their statements. All right, so you get it so far? Now go back to Koto case. So you want to work on partnership. So what is good or what is bad about the partnership? What are we going to learn by telling the strategy of partnership of Koto for our students? Yeah. So what kind of complication or tension do you want to work with students to discuss the case? Hello, Koto friends. So partnership, what's good about partnership, Koto? Does it have any wrong partnership?
Yes,
Or,
they have.
mhm.
Yes, they have a long partnership, and they have also the Koto Australia, who received the donor from the international organization also, and they give also a part for the training centers.
Yeah. So so what kind of tension that we give to, because a case would be a very bad case if everybody comes to the same answer. So we want people to have a debate. That's why we have to throw in tension. So I give you an example here of the kind of tensions that you can throw in. So which tension do you want to throw in for Koto? So it could be, so that I could give an example. So now it could be a disagreement about developing a new partner. So we can give the student a map of the current stakeholders, how the stakeholders are influencing the company's business execution. And now it's about expanding the new partners or deepening the relationship with the current partner. And then there are disagreements in the within the company as to what partners to go with. That could be an example. Okay. So, and for you, so you know the case more than me. So you see which of the tensions here could make a good discussion.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Or may I suggest another one then? Okay, so it could be an disagreement. That's not the tension of the case, or it could be that the incompatibility between two or more opinions. So you just mentioned about Koto in Australia and the partner in Australia. So now we can go with an issues like what they are doing. And here it could also give you some feed on and we talk about the cap. One of the point that we can discuss here, that does a partner create a problem on symbolic capital or not? So it could be an incompatibility between the partners, and then we have to fix that.
Yes.
Okay. Or you may open on the a conflict on opposing needs. So it could be on what your company needs when you work with a partner versus what the your beneficiaries need to work with a partner. So that could create a tension. Okay. Well, now let me give you one challenge. So can you throw in a moral dilemma with the Koto case by working on partnership? Can you throw in that tension?
I think that is possible, but it is so sensitive because regarding to the moral issues among the cultural activities and business, they are also have like training center. And the concept of education now they focus on, for example, the ethics women or the females. So in the future, that is the main part of them or not. For example, not disability, not the children with the poor children.
That's
Yes.
good.
Yes. So we also think about that.
Yeah.
And yeah. So,
Okay, good. All right. So now if you look at the course material, what we want students to take away is that we need collaboration, but then we need like-minded organizations. And we need to have a systematic approach. And then we need to have complementary expertise resources network. And then it's about shared goal and mutual benefits. And then here it's like be prepared to negotiate and align expectations. So then you see for your case here, yeah, you can create any kind of tension from what the poor need and what the restaurants need, and then the tensions on the budget you would have for different activities. So how much of your budget is allocated for which impact creation activities, and what you contribute with versus what your partners contribute. Is it a fair contribution or not? So brief for any of the case, you can choose to throw in any kind of tension here. And that is how you open your story. All right. Hello, you get what
yes.
I am trying to get at? So you choose any of the tensions here. So go back to our example case of Shell. So they say what happened along the way. So they tell the story of the case. So this is climate change problems. So this is where the world is going. So the policy will change. And then in order to gain more money, we are going to make a communication that we are catching the trend. So we are working on ESG, so they make statements. So you see the story of the case go chronological. What happened along the way is boom. Now a claimant say, hey, what you are saying is one, what you're doing is another. And now they have to fix it. So it's a complication that will touch the relationship with the investors. And Jay get a very good idea in the case here is that the investors and regulators are demanding a better climate action from Shell, and then also Shell's investment is also under scrutiny by the board of directors. So see, this is what we can open the case for the discussion. And then if you look at how the case evolved, the discussion evolved so the story goes with that complication, the chronological. So ESG requirement, and then what the board has stated, has talked, agree on, and then now the problem, the disruption that the company has, and then not just by dealing with the government, the company has to deal with activists as well. And then that we wrap up the case, tell the students that if you want to grow your company, you have to work on your the policy. You advocate the policy and you have to walk the talk. All right. So now go back to Koto case. So you can open the case. Let me ask you which one you want to focus on. So you want to create what tension? Because I will go with your flow. So out of these, so you decide on your case, what tension do you want to open the case? To teach students about partnership is important. You have to have the right partner to make it work.
The incompatibility between two more opinion, because here they had also the other SEB involved also on the value chains.
Okay, very good. So let's make it as your so you talk about incompatibility. It's okay. So incompatibilities here, there are many things that you can throw in as intention. So now look at the partnership. We need, so first of all, we need like-minded organizations, right? So question about, we can throw in the information to make students reflect on, are these two like-minded organizations? And then we have some indicator for students, and then so that's leverage, and then mission alignment. That's something we can throw in. And then we can look at communication issue. And then we have, we forgot here, complementary So we know that these would be the so if you want to open the case by having students to discuss the incompatibility between the two organizations. So now out of these, that you can create an issues for the case. So look at our example case here. So they give the problem, the tension is they use the legal memo as a way to throw in the tension. So setting the context, what the company does, and then the legal memo to clearly showing the problem of the interruption. So now for a Koto case, so can you give a context or a situation where the Koto has to re-question this partnership? Could you give an example?
Actually, in Vietnam, now Koto is the elder, the social business. So they feel that they have responsible for the following SEB. So they want to share with them the value and to help them do also the social impact. So in this case, there are a lot of the incompatible benefits between them.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the story to tell the students. So you need to have an opening, an angle to tell the students. So it could be, you could set up, so you talk about incompatibility here. You could create a context, a situation of a discussion around the mission and value of these two. So you could get one news piece that talk about the partner, and then we say, hey, this is where the partner is going. Does it align with us? Or it could be like after a recent visit to the partner, so you discover that the company, the partner, is now having a different type of expertise that we do not see. So it could be a positive sign or it could be negative sign, because when you make a partnership, you have a one type of expectation. But now as you go and visit that partner in Australia, you say after that visit, the person responsible for negotiating with that partner say, we discover that the company has the expertise that we did not expect, and we may exploit the expertise. Or it could be that the company, the partner, seems to make us believe that they have an expertise on helping the elderly. But then when we actually go there, then the expertise is not in that area, but in like helping the young children. And then we'll say, so is it something that we want to develop in the future or not? So you have to give a story, a context to open the case. So go back to Koto. Could you give me a specific example where we could have a suspect that one of this could be a problem? So Koto case. You have to create a situation. It has to look real to students, so that you can put the students in that meeting to solve the problem.
To set the case, I think we must investigate the context and have enough the data, including the primary or secondary data, because it's like it's near real, right? And it's almost the real, the
Mhm.
potential to happen in the reality, right?
Okay.
And
So yes,
yeah,
yes.
I just have a question. In case as a teacher, we must choose how many percentage of negative and positive, because I think if a case is just on negative is not a good impact.
You're right.
Yep.
So the K, so the 80% has to be positive. 80%. 20% is negative. Because if the K is all negative, the students do not feel that the empathy or the need to help the company. So we want to make 80% of the content to say good thing about the company. So I give an example here. Okay. So in your case, you write that the revenue is almost zero, but the company has to still pay 50% of the salary. Okay, so this is what you want to do. Imagine you work with a partner and you make a joint venture. And what if they don't agree with this model? It is a tension on the resources, right? So where do you get the resource to pay the 50% the salary when you don't have the revenue yet? So you work on a partnership, and the partnership wants you to be self-subsistent, and now you want to work with that partnership for imagine you want to work with on that partnership to increase the revenue. But then with the revenue, how are you going to divide the cost of goods sold, the cost to generate that revenue? So that could be a tension. So then maybe you say that partner doesn't bring the resources we need. Okay, get it so far? So
Okay,
you need
thank
to, so you need to create one paragraph. It could be a citation from the discussion in the meeting, or it could be starting from a letter from a partners, or you can even start with a draft version of the agreement between the two organizations, and then the student say, okay, given this draft of agreement, so there are so many disadvantages to us. Then we have an issue with the resources, what they ask from us to contribute versus what they are going to contribute. All right. So then the student will have the substance to start the discussion. Okay, get it so far? Okay. So
Yeah.
now time is already up, and I don't have time to discuss the 6 marks, so you can email me what you have worked on. But I hope today with the example case and my suggestion for Koto, you understand how to write a case for round 3, okay? So always remember that you have to start with the objective. What do you want to teach students? You have to clearly articulate the teaching objectives, and you already have the verb for the questions, right? You learn it from your foundation course, and then you will match it with the content that you want to teach, and then you have to choose correct attention. So again, 80% has to be good on the company, and then 20% it's something really bad we have to work on, we have to fix it. All right. And then, so how do we find a bad situation? So look at the tension, and then we find example that can really illustrate that tension. So example of the case today I give you is the legal memo. That is the example of the tension. So for your Koto case, if you want to work on the incompatibility of resources, so you can start working with the draft version of the agreement between the two partners. And each one asks for different contribution of resources. So that could be an example. Or it again, it could be like a citation of the argument within the management meeting. So one can say that, hey, that partner seems to communicate one thing, but this is the inside information I figure out. So then the student will have to put themselves in the role of the protagonist to discuss the case. And they end up with, for the Koto case, they end up with how now I understand that in order to have a good partnership that allow me to execute my business model or to grow, I need to find like-minded organization to partner with. I need to have someone with a good alignment on mission and value. I need someone with good expertise, resource, and network that complement with my company. And I need to have a good communication about the shared goal between the two organizations. So in the end, the student will learn it through the discussion of the tension. Okay, good. So thank you very much for your participation today. Next week, we are going to work on a mock-up evaluation. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Professor.
Bye.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Bye.
See you.
Goodbye.